What would you do if someone tried to steal your family's legacy with a forged signature and a smirk? I'm not talking about a petty squabble over a fence line. I'm talking about a full-on war, broken windows, blood on the gravel, and a liar who thought she could bully me into oblivion. My name's Sarah Harper, and this is the story of how I fought back when the vultures came for Willow's Bend, my family's restaurant, and made sure they left in handcuffs, disgraced. It started with a letter, bright red and stuck to my door like a slap in the face. The HOA, led by Diane Voss, gave me 30 days to shut down Willow's Bend, 75 years of my family's sweat, laughter, and memories. 30 days to erase the place where my grandpa Jack poured his heart into every nail, and my grandma Rose baked pies that made the whole town smell like home. But when Diane realized her threats didn't scare me, she turned ugly. She smashed my windows. She attacked me in broad daylight. She filed fake papers with the county, trying to snatch my land like it was hers to take. What she didn't know: I wasn't just some pushover. I was a Harper, and I was ready to burn her little kingdom to ashes. The drive to Willow's Bend was quiet, the kind of quiet that lets memories creep in. The river glinted through the trees, lazy and wide, winding past fields that hadn't changed in decades. When I rounded the final curve and saw the weathered sign Willow's Bend, EST 1949, a knot tightened in my throat. The restaurant sat there, proud despite its sagging porch and chipped paint, like it was daring the world to try and knock it down. I parked my truck, gravel crunching under my boots, and breathed in the air, river water, wildflowers, sun-warmed wood. For a second, I was a kid again, fishing off the dock with Grandpa Jack, sneaking extra icing from Grandma's mixing bowl. "This place is yours, Sarah," Grandpa used to say, his voice steady as the river. "It's not just land. It's us. Don't let anyone take it." Back then, I didn't get it. Now, I felt those words like a fist in my chest. Inside, the restaurant was frozen in time. Oak tables worn smooth by years of elbows, black and white photos of smiling customers tilted on the walls, and in the corner, the old piano where Grandpa would play river tunes after one too many whiskeys. I ran my hand over the bar, feeling the grooves my family had left behind. This wasn't just a building. It was a heartbeat, stitched into the land itself. I hadn't come back to reopen a restaurant. I'd come to protect a legacy. But trouble was already waiting, sharp and hungry, just around the bend. The letter came first, that ugly red ultimatum demanding I close up shop. When I tore it down and kept the doors open, Diane Voss didn't just push, she shoved. One morning, I found my windows shattered, glass glittering like broken promises across the floor. Then she caught me outside, swinging a tire iron and splitting my arm open before I could dodge. Blood soaked my sleeve as the deputy cleaned the cut, his face tight with unease. "You pressing charges?" he asked. "Damn right," I said, not even blinking. He nodded, scribbling notes. "File a report downtown. Assault's no small thing." "Good. Let it be big. Let it sting." As soon as the deputy left, Diane's cronies glaring from the street, I called the one person who could turn this mess into a fight I could win. Lucas Chin picked up fast. "Sarah? This about that property you mentioned?" he asked. "It's a war now," I snapped. "Diane Voss just attacked me, and that's after her HOA goons tried to scare me off with a fake EVY tie-in." Lucas let out a low whistle. "That's bold. All right, I'm there tomorrow. Dig up every document you've got, deeds, taxes, anything. And Sarah? Brace yourself. These types don't back down easy. Let them try," I growled. "I'll hit harder." That night, I tore through the office, ripping open file cabinets and raising clouds of dust. Deeds, blueprints, tax records, some in Grandpa's own handwriting piled up on the dining room table, proof of a lifetime's claim to this land. By dusk, I had a fortress of paper, every page screaming one truth: Willow's Bend was ours. Outside, headlights crawled past Diane's sleek BMW, prowling slow, her eyes locked on the restaurant. I peeked through the curtains, a grim smile tugging at my lips. Let her watch. Let her feel the storm brewing inside these walls. Because the next time she stepped foot here, she wouldn't be swinging a tire iron. She'd be facing a lawsuit that'd choke her. Sleep didn't come that night. The house creaked in the dark, the air thick with late summer heat. Crickets hummed by the river, but something felt off, like the calm before a lightning strike. I checked the locks, pulled the curtains tight. Then it happened. Crash. The front window exploded, glass spraying the floor. Another crash hit the side. Laughter, sharp and cruel, cut through the night. I grabbed a flashlight, heavy as a club, and bolted outside, heart pounding. Shadows darted in the dark, 3 figures in hoodies, one cocking back to throw another rock. "Hey!" I roared, charging them. They scattered like rats, one dropping his rock, another tripping into a bush. But Diane? She stood there, bold as brass under the porch light, no hoodie, no shame, her face twisted with smug satisfaction. "You think a few rocks will break me?" I shouted, storming toward her. She sneered, voice dripping poison. "This dump's a blight. We're just helping it along." I gripped the flashlight so hard my knuckles ached, every nerve screaming to swing. But I stopped cold. She wanted me to lose it. Instead, I aimed the light right in her eyes, making her flinch. "Get off my land!" I hissed. "While you still can." She spat on the ground, her fancy heels clicking as she stalked off into the night. I stood there, chest heaving, staring at the wreckage, broken windows, Grandpa's photos exposed to the humid air. This wasn't vandalism. This was war. Fine. If Diane wanted to play dirty, I'd bury her in her own lies. By sunrise, I'd swept the glass, boarded the windows, and locked every door twice. Rage kept me awake, sharp and focused. At 8 sharp, Lucas's truck rolled in. He stepped out, briefcase in hand, and whistled at the damage. "They're not just poking you, Sarah. They're begging for a fight." I flashed a tight smile. "Good. Let's give them one they'll choke on." We spread the documents across the table: deeds from 1949, water rights, tax records, zoning approvals from before the HOA even existed. Lucas worked like a surgeon, gloved hands flipping pages. "This is airtight," he said, holding up a boundary survey stamped in official ink. "Your land's private, no HOA jurisdiction." "Then what's Diane's game?" I snapped, slamming the table. Lucas's mouth twitched. "Bluff and greed." Then his phone buzzed, and his face darkened. "County Recorder's Database," he said, spinning the screen toward me. There it was, a filing, 6 months old, claiming Willow's Bend as HOA controlled. Community space. Signed by Diane Voss. "That snake," I spat. "She's been collecting fees, acting like she owns my land." Lucas's eyes gleamed. "And now we've got her." We set the trap fast. Wireless cameras went up hidden in trees, under eaves, behind the old sign. I wanted every move recorded, every lie caught. That afternoon, Diane's convo rolled in here, BMW leading a pack of shiny SUVs, investors trailing like sharks smelling blood. From the kitchen, I watched, fists clenched. Diane stepped out, sunglasses gleaming, her designer bag swinging like a weapon. She scanned my land like it was already hers, then turned to the crowd. "This," she declared, voice loud and smug, "is prime riverfront property. We've managed it for years. The prior owner's out." "Out?" I nearly broke the counter. Lucas muttered, "She lies like it's her job." Diane led them around, spinning tales of marinas, clubhouses, luxury event halls all on my land. She even walked through my restaurant, pointing at Grandpa's tables like they were hers to sell. "No legal issues," she promised, smiling wide. Lucas tapped his phone. "Got it. Video and audio. She's done." I nodded, rage boiling but steady. We needed her arrogant. We needed her loud. And Diane delivered. The next day, her big investment gala unfolded on my land, tents, champagne, investors sipping under my oaks. Diane stood center stage, projector flashing glossy plans for Willow's Resort. That's when we moved. I marched into the crowd, boots crunching, Lucas at my side with a binder thick as a brick. Diane saw me and froze, then sneered into the mic. "You're trespassing." I didn't flinch. "This is my land," I said, voice cutting like steel. "And you're about to learn what that means." Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Diane barked for security, but her HOA goons just shuffled, useless. Lucas slammed the binder down. "Deeds, surveys, proof Willow's Bend was mine since 1949. I held up a photo from our cameras, Diane, leading investors through my restaurant, promising no complications. "This," I roared, "is fraud. Trespass. Theft." The crowd erupted. Investors swarmed Diane, shouting, "You said the HOA owned this," one yelled. "You lied," another screamed. Diane's face strained white, her mic slipping. Lucas leaned in, voice low. "Run, Diane. Lawsuits are next." I faced the crowd. "This isn't just my fight. She scammed you all." Then I locked eyes with Diane. "You wanted war? You got it." I walked away, Leah vying her to choke in the chaos. She didn't run. She stood there, clutching the mic, eyes wild as investors tore into her. "Fraud! Lawsuit!" The words flew like knives. Diane stammered. "A misunderstanding." But it was weak, pathetic. Then the deputies arrived. Officer Carter, a no-nonsense woman, held an envelope. "Diane Voss," she called. "You're under arrest for filing fraudulent property claims." Diane shrieked. "This is a mistake." But the cuffs clicked on, her heels scraping as they dragged her to the cruiser. She twisted back, screaming, "I built this community!" A resident shouted, "We'll do better without you." I stood there, hands loose, feeling the tide turn. The HOA board slunk away, knowing they were next. Months later, the HOA was gutted. Lawsuits, investigations, new leaders who cared about people, not power. Willow's Bend came back to life. I stood on the new porch, paint fresh, laughter spilling from open doors. Kids splashed by the river, families picnicked under the oaks. We built the Willow's Bend Trust, owned by the town, guarded by simple rules: respect the land, honor its past, fight for it. A boy reeled in a fish, his dad cheering. I smiled, chest tight. Grandpa would have loved this. Lucas joined me, nodding at the scene. "You did it." "We did," I said. "The whole town." "Diane?" "Facing charges, probably cutting deals to fade away." "Good. Let her rot." I pulled a bronze plaque from my pocket and bolted it above the door. "This land is not for sale. Guarded by memory, blood, and will." Willow's Bend would stand forever against greed, lies, anyone who dared try. This wasn't just about a restaurant. It was about truth, courage, legacy. Sometimes, the fight's quiet, relentless, worth every scar. "So, tell me, would you have fought like I did, or walked away?"